Your first full-length album is called Ascendant Blasphemy, and it will be out on February 26th of this year. Let's start with the writing process. How did this album come together?
Okay, so the writing process started when I created, because the music was almost done before JC joined, so he just kind of started working with existing tracks, but all like vocals, everything, it's completely his work. I just created kind of a frame for everything. So yeah, it was, and later there was many changes in tracks. So the final tracks are completely different than those demo tracks I had and I showed to JC, to John.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we when I guess entered the picture, I guess you could call them the demos. The demos of the album the album's pretty much 80% completed, and then I start writing lyrics and arranging vocals. Once I start landing vocals on tracks, we fine-tune things, change some sections. That's usually the quote-unquote icing on the cake portion, where we can really find where the cadence of each track lies and find like how to make those parts shine, I guess. And then, yeah, Aram is correct in that there is a lot of change that happens by the time the tracks are completed. In a lot of ways, they probably don't resemble the original demos that we began with at all, other than familiar riffs, of course.
So, John, would you say that you had a large hand in the arrangements of the songs?
Yeah, I could say so. It does, I suppose, feel like it should be just, the final touches. You're just kind of landing the vocals. But once I start, I guess, trying to figure out how I want to do my part, then, of course, I want to change things. And I think, yeah, by the time we're done with it, it ends up being a little bit of a 50-50 split. Of course, if you can consider all of the instrumentation to be equal to my one part of vocals and us changing things. But I do feel like I affect the composition pretty deeply when trying to land my part of the job onto it, for sure.
Radek, how do you typically start a song? Do you start with the riffs?
Yeah, with riffs. I'm building everything around riffs and trying to make, I don't know, some progressions, everything, find out where it has to be slower, faster, to just keep this momentum of the song. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's the way I'm doing.
Now, how do you compare the songs on the full length to the music on your previous EPs?
The Ascendant Blasphemy is a continuation of the music I did for the Sulphur Eyes. You can find many similarities, for example, the layering of vocals and everything. So it's pretty much the same atmosphere, everything, just, it's natural progression. So, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I can second that. There are definitely... I think first of all, to an open listener, if you're presented with the information that this is a solo project, at least before my involvement, then understanding it to be a very riff-driven composition, I think is like pretty notable, pretty forefront in the composition, that this is a stringed instrument musician primarily. And there's some really great doomy sections on Through the Sulphur Eyes that you can hear similarities in riff composition with some of the slower, doomier songs on Ascendant Blasphemy as well. It's an evolution, right?
Yeah.
That's fair, I think. Yeah.
How long had you guys been working on the album?
When we started, like April, March?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you count like before I got involved, like when you started with demos, but it was around March that I got involved. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started last year. So I mean, not right before release of Through the Sulphur Eyes, because I already have like a couple riffs, like half finished songs and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
So the work was like 2019, the beginning of that.
I'm curious why, since you already had the beginnings of some of these songs when you were doing the previous EP, why did you release an EP first before the album?
To be honest, because debut album has to be like real deal, you know what I mean. So this EP, I felt that it's not we can do, or not I can do, like I can do better. So I had some, like I could maybe postpone a bit, release this EP, add a couple songs which are finally came in Ascendant Blasphemy, but with session vocalist, it doesn't make sense to like release debut album as so yeah, so that's why I decided let's go with EP and then find someone for vocalist position, find stable lineup, and then use those songs, the new songs, and make, I hope, good release to to make it great debut album, or let's put it that way.
Tell me about the recording of the album, because I understand you recorded this yourself.
You mean recording process? I mean engineering, everything, like mastering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, everything I did by myself. Recorded of guitars, bass. I did mastering, mixing, recorded John's vocals, like literally everything. So final product you can hear, it's my work. Well, let's put it that way. I mean, from engineering side.
Yeah, you're getting an album written, performed, recorded, engineered by Plague Weaver exclusively.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it, between the two of us, and more on his side, for sure.
And the drums are programmed?
Unfortunately, yes, because first of all, we have times then really hard it's to jam with someone, work with someone, because of all those restrictions, lockdown, everything. It's real pain in the ass to do something. And the second thing, we just don't want to wait until we find someone, and then we will go with him. He will learn the songs and everything. Let's say it would take like 1 year or so. So yeah, It was pointless to wait. So I tried my best to make it sound, I don't know, nice, but we will see.
In general, do you prefer the sound of a live drummer?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's why I'm looking for a full lineup. That was my plan at the beginning.
With the inclusion of additional members, do you expect that your songwriting process will change?
We will see. It's hard to predict. Everything depends on the attitude of new people, if they want to.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is pretty difficult to sway someone's creative input, unless, of course, you're using someone purely for session or touring, like live musician. I would say anyone who joins the project and takes ownership, I mean, in anything I've been a part of, has a certain degree of creative input that, can't be avoided. It's just important to find the right people and, make sure you're all on the same page, and then you end up surprising each other and complimenting each other instead of the alternative, which is not preferable.
Now, having written and arranged most of the music yourself, Radek, are you open to collaboration and to the input of other people?
Yes, of course, because sometimes it's hard because, for example, I'm creating some riff and I will be never sure if it's a good riff or bad riff, because okay, I like it, but I really can use input of someone like involved also feeling the same way. So yeah, definitely I can collaborate with someone, but still the problem is I think the Plague Weaver we're trying to create our own like sound and everything, like music. So everything has to fit in it. You know what I mean? Because we already have it. It's our third release, so we have a kind of track of our, like couple of songs was created, and it would be really nice if everything stay in this path. You know what I mean?
John, is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just to reiterate, the previous question and what we were talking about. I think Plague Weaver is an established sound. There is a definite, unique Plague Weaver sound, tone, atmosphere. And of course, it's a little bit of give and take. Anybody else or any other influencing force that comes in, like I said, we hope we are all on the same page and we have ideas that might surprise each other but are still in the vein of what we're all looking for. There is a vision. It's broad, but it does have borders, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we know what we're looking for, and there's wiggle room, of course, for collaboration and other people to get involved. But there is, a specific, I guess, range of what we would like to sound like. Yeah.